Hello guys, welcome to the product photography section of this course. Okay, product photography is probably one of the most important parts of this course, as presenting your products in a respectable way and in a good way is crucial to getting good sales. If your product photos aren't really up to scratch, then people just aren't going to have a lot of confidence in you or your product. Also, having the skill to be able to just take product photos whenever you like is a great thing to have and really puts you miles ahead of the competition. Okay, there's a lot of people out there that really hash up product photos and it does affect their sales whether they like it or not. So having the skill to be able to just drum up excellent photos whenever you want is really cool. Okay. With your order on the way, it is very important to have as much ready as possible, so once it arrives you can get it out to market ASAP. With the sample that you have left for your records, we are going to take some super sweet product photos for all your listings. Yep, remember I told you to keep that sample to one side for your records, logs and everything else? Well, now it's going to come into use. Okay, so dig that one out and get it ready. Taking photos of your products that look great is easy and cheap. If you have a bit of spare cash, then there are more options available to you. In this lesson, we're going to cover it all. Yeah, you can get really good results with very little money. There is going to be maybe a bit of start cash you're going to require, but use a bit of creativity, use a bit of ingenuity, and it's going to cost you next to nothing. I started with my iPhone, a cardboard box. Okay, and a lamp, desk lamp, really, and I was making good photos. I'm going to show examples of what photos I took with those later on. Might embarrass myself a little bit, but we'll see. Okay, if you're worried about the price, then don't be. Product photography can literally be done for next to nothing, or you can spend thousands on equipment. This, of course, all depends on your budget, but even with very little, you can still get excellent results that will fit on any marketplace. Here are a few examples of product photography setups that people have posted on the web. Okay, I've just taken a few examples from Google Images. I never really took photos of my product photography setup when I was doing it because I never thought I'd need to. But this one here is very similar to what mine looked like. Now basically what this is a cardboard box with the sides cut out, some pieces of paper like tracing paper or baking paper put over there over the sides where the holes were that you just cut. There's a bit cut out the top there as well, I think, maybe not. Use the tracing paper to diffuse the light that you shine through, thus giving an even light across your product that's in the middle. The product there has basically just been placed on a bit of white card that's been folded up and sellotaped to the back of the box. Now that will take you about 15-20 minutes to make. You probably already got a box lying around from your samples. It's really basic. My one, I had one desk lamp and I borrowed a lamp from my friend who's a tradesman, and it was a work lamp. And the two lights shining into the box were completely different shades of white. And it was very amateurish, but I got good results with it, and it really did. The aim is to get an even amount of light all over your product so it lights up nicely, and to have your product on a nice light neutral background. Okay, that will vary with the product. If your product's like a glass product, then you'll want it on a dark background. I'll show you a picture of that in a bit. But yeah, you want your product evenly lit up. You want it on a nice light neutral background. That's the keys and the very basics to product photography. Okay, here's another setup here. Same thing. Okay, it looks like he's only got two lamps as well, so he's making do. He's got the top cut out there with a bit of paper across the top there, and a light shining through onto the top of the product he's taking photos of. So it's a case of having to move the lights around if you haven't got enough, and this is proper guerrilla photography. And the results, when you bring them up, you're going to think that doesn't look that good. Oh god, I can't put that up. But I'll show you how to use software that will edit it up and make them look really good. Okay, so basically the fundamentals for getting a product photo up are neutral background and make sure the product's lit well on all sides. Like he may have problems because on his left hand side there's no light going in, but it might give it a nice side light effect and you might get a bit creative with that. So, you know, this is like an average setup. This is very, very similar to my product studio. It's using what's called an Easy Cube, and it's a light tent that you can buy, and they fold up into a nice little carry bag. I love it. I think it's brilliant. They come in all different sizes and have all different features, and they're not too expensive. They are definitely a notch up from a cardboard box, but if you can afford one, I'd recommend having a look. I'll supply the link to their website in the resource area. And also these lights on the side here are much more professional. They're pretty similar to the ones I've got. They spread the light out a lot more and they work really well with the Easy Cube. Now the Easy Cube has all the sides zip down, the top zips out, so you can kind of do whatever you like and have more stronger light coming in, or it's absolutely excellent. There's also hooks along the top where you can kind of hang your product down, maybe using bits of string, and have like a floating effect for your product as well. Like I say, this thing folds up into a nice little bag and can be stored anywhere. And those tripods and lights are pretty space saving as well. This is another picture of it sitting on a table like that. It's great. I mean, you can have that on your dining room table, set up, get the photos done, fold it all up, put it away. It takes up very little space. It's really decent. If you can get that, I would recommend it. But a cardboard box will definitely get you started. Now moving on to more expensive setups. I'm sorry about the pixelated photos here. I'm giving you electron photography and my photos are rubbish, but you kind of get the drift. This still isn't that expensive, but he's got the lighting with the light diffusing umbrellas and all that sort of thing going on. The studio room that they're in would have to be a very white painted room as well. So that's really for a studio setup. So that would cost more. And this is your full works. It's for what professionals would use for product photography. It's really not what we need, but the Easy Cube's still being used even in this kind of setup. But they've got lights everywhere. You don't need that, okay? We can achieve results very similar to this with hardly any tripods. There's a lot of tripods there. Okay, so these are the results. All these results here you can achieve with very minimum effort. I know you're thinking, probably not, but take my word for it, you can do it. It's not as hard as it looks. There's reference to the teapot I was talking about earlier. They've got a black reflective surface for the teapot to sit on, and it's got like a dark grey fade on the back there, and it's really brought the glass of the teapot out, and there's all kinds of shades of grey there, and the reflection of the teapot onto the black surface, it looks absolutely nice. But that's totally doable. That's a bit of reflective plastic and a grey faded background that can be bought online for a couple of pounds. It's not that hard, okay? Down the bottom left here is some soaps. You can actually see the light's been shining from a studio light from the top left. If you look in the rounded soap like pump dispenser, you can actually see the square light shining onto the side of that. I think it looks really good. It's a really good photo, but at the same time, once you get your lighting right and you learn the software, you can put a bit of rock down, put a leaf there, sprinkle some pebbles over your product, lean them all against each other. If that's a garden in the background, or it could be a backdrop, it doesn't matter. You can do these outside, of course. You can come up with great product photos like that. Now imagine if you took a photo like that and you stuck it on Gumtree. No one's got photos like that. You know, Gumtree's got photos of a ladder down the side of a shed that's filthy. Your photos will stand out, and that will give your customers confidence in you and probably buy off you over another person who's not really taken much effort at all or just doesn't know how to do it. The software, all these images here have been through product software. The product software we're going to use is a free software application called GIMP. GIMP is great. I recommend GIMP for all of your photo needs. I use GIMP an awful lot. Okay, why do we need to do product photography? Why is it such a big deal? Well, if you haven't got it already, nearly all marketplaces have very strict guidelines on product photos. Some on the number and quality of the photos placed on the respective site. Amazon is one of the strictest, as that your pics have to be a certain size, a certain clarity, and also have a plain white background. Yep, if you go on Amazon now, I'd say that 99% of the photos you look at, all plain white backgrounds. That's done by the customer, not by Amazon. Most of them will have like that zoom feature as well. We'll talk about that in a sec. And they all are good pictures. Okay, Amazon's quite a stickler on it. eBay also has strict guidelines, and you will be quickly informed if your prized photo doesn't make the cut. But on the upside, once you have the knowledge and the means to create great looking pics, you can put up as many as you like without having to worry. In fact, most marketplaces love listings with loads of pics, and that will show in how many visitors your listing gets and ultimately an increase in sales. There are a couple of reasons why they do this. It ensures that the products are all going to be clear for the customer. Most marketplaces now have a product zoom option on the page so that you can see the product close up. To be able to do this, the product image has to be a certain size. To make sure I fit with all websites I sell on, I make the image size 1000 by 1000 pixels. We cover how to do this in a bit. This also means that the marketplace looks nice. If people are allowed to just throw up any old junk, then that would have a detrimental effect on the website's appearance. So yeah, basically, I completely agree with it, and I'm sure once you learn how to do product photography, you will as well. You'll be like, no, gotta have great photos, everyone's gotta have great photos. If your photos don't make the cut, then you're off the site. Okay, I'm going to embarrass myself a little bit here. Here are a few before and after pictures of products I took when I first started taking my own photos, my own product images. And yeah, they're a little bit, the befores are a bit worrying. And I believe me, when I took them, I was like, oh my God, I can't put that up. But once it went through GIMP and I edited all of it, it looked great. They come out okay for a first efforts. Like I said, I do run and own a jewellery store, and it works really well and it goes really well. Here are my first efforts for my jewellery store back in the day. This was the ring, probably one of the first photos I ever took. I followed a load of online guides and read a load of stuff, and for a first effort, that was on a piece of frosted plastic actually I found in my shed, in my garden. Cleaned it all up. As you can see, there's still little specks of dirt and that on there, and it looks a bit amateurish. And yeah, that was how it looked before, and I took loads of different angles and that, so I'm hoping I've got the two same photos, but they all came out pretty much the same. And this is the after. It's quite zoomed in here, so it might look a little bit pixelated, but as you can see, the colours have been brought right out. It was stuck to the plastic. If you look right in, you can kind of see a bit of dollop of wax. Now I kind of edited that out as well, and yeah, that's my first effort of a ring. If you want to buy that ring, I still got a couple for sale. This is a beaded bracelet, a fashion jewellery bracelet. Again, it's sitting at the top of the photo, not in the middle. There's dirty smudge marks and bits of grain. It's very dull. Doesn't look that great at all. You would not, Amazon would laugh at you if you tried to put that on their website. But you clean it all up, you zoom it all in, and that's what you get, and that looks much better. And that is the actual size, so that it's obviously not the size when it's on the marketplace, but you have it that size, so when you put it onto the marketplace, people can zoom in, and that's what it looks like when they zoom in. So I think that came out pretty well. And the final one is another ring. I had this on, you can kind of see the reflection on the bottom there. I had a reflective piece of plastic too. I think actually when I turned the plastic over, if I remember rightly, it was frosted on one side and kind of reflective on the other. So I tried the reflective way. Again, it's dull. There's like a bit of hair or fur there. Yeah, bits of muck all around it. Again, it's not very clean. But when you cleaned it all up and brought it in, again, it came out lovely. And yeah, those were my first efforts. And that was, if I could do that first time out, then with no information, then you guys can too. Okay. Thanks for watching this introduction. I will see you in the next video where we will go further into product photography.